Like the opening of that one was me burping.
And me coming out thinking,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Glad that got cut off.
3 beers left. So we've been sticking pretty much to the American beers. So the last, well, actually there are going to be 6 beers in a row that I picked.
Yeah.
I can't remember why that was, but
Why
you
picked
need your
6
bottle
in a-
opener.
Whenever Roland's like, "Do you have a bottle opener?" I'm like, 28. I have it on my keys.
Yeah.
But I realized like,
Well, I have one on my keys as well, but I don't have my keys on me.
yeah.
So let's go outside of the country for a bit. And
So that's interesting. I was gonna ask you, because we've been drinking craft beers for
yeah.
the entire month, and are craft beers like big in Europe? Like, do they
No.
have craft breweries like?
I would say in England it is a big deal.
Okay.
And British people are incredibly snobby about their beers.
Yeah. Did I ever say that I used to think Newcastle was English?
Newcastle is English. Newcastle is
I don't
England.
think so. They.
Newcastle is England. It's right on the border of Scotland, but it is definitely
But where do they?
one.
Where do they brew it though? They brew it in England.
I assume so. Yeah, Newcastle upon Tyne. They brew it in. My brother went to
Sure.
university in Newcastle. Yeah, Geordies. It's funny because they have this really weird accent in Newcastle called the Geordie accent, which I can't even do a fake version of, and it's like it's not Scottish, it's not English. In fact, it's like this really weird sub-dialect derived from the Vikings. But it's definitely England, but it is pretty much as far north in England as you can possibly get.
I think Newcastle the beer is brewed in England.
Yeah.
I think it was brewed in the States, and they just call it.
Oh, do you know? There's the possibility that
it's like
they
Dos Equis
licensed
is
it.
yeah, because Dos Equis is brewed in White Plains.
Yeah, joking aside, I think a few years ago, it might have even been Heineken. Heineken used to be imported,
Yeah.
and then they started brewing it in America. Maybe it's not Heineken. I think Heineken is still
So.
imported. What was it? It was a really good beer, and they started brewing it in America instead. But
Yeah, because I remember thinking Newcastle was. Let's look this up as we drink. Do you want to talk more about the beer and then?
okay, so yes, this beer, Chimay. So yeah, this is a Trappist ale brewed in Belgium.
That's so weird. Okay, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Newcastle Brown Ale is a brown ale originally produced in Newcastle upon Tyne, but now produced by Heineken. How weird is that?
That is weird.
At the Zoeterwoude,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, all of my Dutch friends, brewery in Holland.
So they brew Newcastle Brown Ale in Holland.
Yep.
Did not see that one coming.
And that's very recent. In 2010, it was from 2005 they moved from Newcastle to Dunstan.
Yeah.
And then in 2010 they moved to Tadcaster. And in 2000
Tadcaster actually has some fantastic beers.
Okay.
And they actually have some craft beers where they make the beer in these stone like vats.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then 2017 they moved to Holland. How would you pronounce Zoeterwoude?
Zoeterwoude? Zoeterwoude?
Zoeterwoude? I don't know.
Blitz in the bottom? Schmuck in a pancake?
Schmuck in a pancake, yeah.
Tadcaster, they have, there's a brewery, English brewery called Samuel Smith, which does some really interesting beer, and they brew them in these big stone casks, so.
We're probably we're fairly deep into the weeds on this video, and we haven't even talked about this beer yet.
So, Belgium. What is Belgium famous for? Tintin, chocolate,
Waffles.
the inventor of French fries, which always get
Right.
distributed to France, and then, of course, some of the best beer in the world. Belgium had a lot of monasteries. The beers that were made there were always famously made by monks. So there's Lef, which is probably the most famous Belgian beer, fantastic, like golden ale. This is Chimay, which is very, very popular in America. It's a Trappist ale, as in it's made by monks. Here we go, in the Scormont Abbey. So it's very much a Belgian style of ale. This is dark, unfiltered ale. I've never actually had Chimay before. I love Left, so I'm kind of a fan of this. And we've got another Belgian ale to try. And
Cheers.
the next day. See what you think. No idea what this is going to be like.
It smells nice.
Yeah, it smells like caramelly, very malty.
Oh, that's good. It does taste very, very caramelly.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that? It's completely changing topics. Do you remember the commercial with Shaq and
No.
I think it was Crunch. It would be like caramel. It's like it's caramel. It's like
The
caramel.
only advert I know with Shaq is
Shaquille
the
O'Neal.
icy hot.
Hot. Yeah. What about the General?
I guess. I think I have seen that commercial now you mention it, but
Yeah, it's interesting. I used to watch a lot of TV, and now I don't.
yeah,
I watch a lot of Netflix.
I like literally the only show I watch. I will watch on video on demand, The Flash, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is good.
This is good. I like this.
Yeah.
What can I? Was this an ale? You said.
Yeah. This is a Trappist ale.
Okay.
This to me is if they've done a lot of the things where you pair beer with food.
Mhm.
If I was going to have a meal that had to be paired with a beer, this is a type of beer I would like to pair with it.
I would agree with that. What would you pair with it?
I'm just thinking, I think something like cheesy potatoes, like the gratin
Yeah.
potatoes. A nice, like,
This isn't like a
savory chicken.
steak. I would say this isn't like a steak and potatoes kind of. This is like a comfort food beer. This
Yeah,
is
I was going to say,
you would
like,
eat, mac
cheesy
and cheese.
potatoes.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe like the chicken in a cheesy sauce.
Right.
But,
This is good. I would drink this.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, I am drinking it, but like, this is
But-
a beer that I would order again.
And it's funny because you and I have very disparate, like, tastes in beers,
Yes.
but I think this is, like, where we meet in the middle ground. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of trending towards the same kind of beers now, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of over my IPA kick.
That's...
But when we first became friends, I was really into IPAs, and I would bring them over and
Well, it's
get
so
like a
funny
mild
because
eye roll and.
if we'd, like, become, like, that close friends 2 years earlier, I'd have been, like, so down for that.
Do you think it's like when women? This is really gross. You
When
know
you're-
exactly where I'm going with this. Do you
When
think
that
it's like when we-
period's, like, a
Yes,
line.
exactly. Do you think it's like we hang out so much that like our beer tastes have aligned? It's totally the way it works. Menstruation and it's
To quote,
menstruation.
no, menstruation. To quote Lauren, who we quoted before, gay.
Guy on guy.
That is super gay, but I actually think there is probably legitimacy to it. Right, well, cheers. to
Cheers.
that. Let's chug these to the face. And we will film our next episode tomorrow. Ciao.
Cheers.